All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Terence Crawford have some strong words for Jermell Charlo. You probably guys already know the scenario what's going on between the two. Terence Crawford says, "I'm effing up Jermell Charlo, and after I beat Errol Spence, I'm moving up and I'm effing Charlo up." End quote. So, very strong words coming from the WBO champion at welterweight. So I'm going to break it down to y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. Please share that you like and subscribe to the channel. And also share the video to get all your latest boxing news. With that being said, Terence Crawford despises Jermell Charlo. I don't know the reason why he doesn't like Jermell Charlo. I don't know what the case may be between the relationship. Maybe that he sees Jermell Charlo as a guy that people shouldn't look up to. Whatever the case may be, you guys let me know, why does Terence Crawford don't like Jermell Charlo? So Terence Crawford had to say on his end quote, whatever they make a picture comparison about the two. Terence Crawford says, "I'm effing him up. After I beat Errol Spence, I'm moving up, effing him up, and Charlo, effing up Charlo," end quote. So, do I see Terence Crawford beating Jermell Charlo? Well, despite all the stuff that they did throughout the past, do I see Terence Crawford beating Jermell Charlo? I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no. Previous videos I made, I says there's no way Terence Crawford could beat Jermell Charlo. So I'm going to end with a standpoint at I don't know. We know that Terence Crawford has a big showdown coming up with my favorite fighter within Errol Spence Jr. And I'm hoping that this fight does come to fruition. And a few people that I talked to boxing recently daily states that this fight still might not happen. It's going to be over the smallest thing that this fight doesn't happen. Like I said before, if the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford doesn't happen, they don't need each other to be well rectified or legacy. Because if you think about it, what Terence Crawford stated, that he's already had undisputed, he's already a Hall of Famer. Well, for people that don't know how the Hall of Fame works, you have to be voted into the Hall of Fame. And I don't know if Terence Crawford's going to get enough votes to get in the Hall of Fame. Maybe the diehard boxing fans might vote for him, but not a lot of people are a fan of Terence Crawford as you think, as people fan. Just like I could put in the scenario, there's not a lot of people like Errol Spence Jr. They might not try to not let that man go in the Hall of Fame, but Errol Spence Jr., with the resume he's shown that he is going to be a Hall of Famer, and Terence Crawford's shown that he's going to be a Hall of Famer because they both have accomplishments. So, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. So, the scenario is, can Terence Crawford beat Jermell Charlo? I'm going to stick to I don't know. Because Jermell Charlo, he's 5'11". He has very long arms. He's big. He's athletic. He does very well against southpaws as well. And a lot of people is starting to take offense to this. Terence Crawford is not the best switch hitter in boxing. We've seen Terence Crawford is less effective in the orthodox stance, and he's more effective in the southpaw stance. When Terence Crawford was at 135 to 140, he was more effective in the orthodox stance than the southpaw stance. Now it's the other way around. Terence Crawford is less effective in the orthodox stance, and he's more effective in the southpaw stance. So switching the orthodox to southpaw against Jermell Charlo isn't going to matter. The focal point is, can Terence Crawford outbox Jermell Charlo? Well, he has a 1-inch arm reach advantage over Jermell Charlo, but Jermell Charlo is the bigger man. I feel like Jermell Charlo is physically the stronger man than Terence Crawford, even though Terence Crawford is a wrestler, was a wrestler before he got into the sport of boxing. So, like I say, there's weight classes for a reason, and I just feel like Terence Crawford, like I said before, I think he's too small for 154. Now, if he wants to make up there and make a statement and just fight Jermell Charlo only, that's a different game plan. I think Terence Crawford could win the fight. I think Terence Crawford could lose the fight. I think Jermell Charlo could win the fight, and I think Jermell Charlo can lose the fight. There's a lot of possibilities on what's going to happen. Jermell Charlo when a fight this big, like a big name like Terence Crawford ever happens, Jermell Charlo is going to take you 1,000,000% seriously. I mean, the dude always come in the ring angry with some problems, and Terence Crawford's that same way. Really, in my opinion, this fight is going to be all about who's got the super dog in them, and both guys have that dog in them. So, if this fight does ever come to fruition, one guy is going to try to break the other guy's will. And Terence Crawford, you know, he's not the youngest guy in the world, but he can still fight. He's still showing he's still got boxing ability. But in my opinion, I think Terence Crawford is starting to slow down. You know, once you reach middle age and over 40, you know, it's going to be a different game plan. You're going to have to start changing up some tactics and stuff like that, because Terence Crawford's not going to be able to rely on his athleticism against Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has shown that he can fight off the back foot. Jermell Charlo has shown that he can box with you. Jermell Charlo has shown that he can punch with you. Terence Crawford is dealing with a different type of animal. So you're saying that effing up Jermell Charlo is going to be your goal. I like to see that. But just because you say it, that doesn't mean you're really going to do it, Terence Crawford. You got to remember, this guy is one of the best junior middleweights of the world. And he's a dangerous fighter for you. And if Terence Crawford beats Jermell Charlo, that's a statement right there. A man that started all the way from 135 all the way up to 147 and then goes to 54 and beat one of the best junior middleweights in the world, that speaks volumes for Terence Crawford. But do I think Terence Crawford could win? I don't know. We got to see the fight happen. But right now, Terence Crawford shouldn't even be talking about this stuff. Yes, you have to focus on one task only, and that's Errol Spence Jr. We both know, both of you guys, this is an important fight. Do I believe that they're going to fight multiple times? I don't know. Maybe they might rematch at 54. It's a slim chance of that happening. But Terence Crawford, don't forget about Errol Spence Jr. We know you have the confidence to think that you can beat Jermell Charlo. But don't forget about Errol Spence now. You think Errol Spence might be a walk in the park. Well, your trainer thinks that it's going to be a walk in the park. But in your mind, you know that this fight ain't a walk in the park, Terence Crawford. So, I feel like Terence Crawford, you know, he has the ability to switch the orthodox to southpaw. We know that. He's a rangy guy. Jermell Charlo has a very good ring IQ. Terence Crawford has a very good ring IQ. But here's the downfall with Terence Crawford as well. Terence Crawford is a very slow starter. Nobody likes me talking about Terence Crawford as a slow starter. It's just the truth. If you guys go back and look at that Kell Brook fight, look how slow Terence Crawford started. He couldn't make adjustments to the jab. But when he switched to southpaw, he got Kell Brook up out of there. I can go on and on and on, but I'm going to keep it simple as I could possibly be. Can Terence Crawford beat Jermell Charlo? I don't know. We got to see the fight. Make it happen. So, with that being said, guys, I ain't going to keep this video too long. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Terence Crawford can beat Jermell Charlo? Well, put a comment down in the comment section below if you think that. So, with that being said, Terence Crawford states, I am effing up Jermell Charlo after I beat Errol Spence, and I'm moving up and I'm effing up Charlo in quotes. Simply, Terence Crawford just don't like Jermell Charlo. I don't know why, the reason why. He just don't like him. And I don't even think that even if Terence Crawford does beat Jermell Charlo or stop him or knock him out, he still wouldn't give the guy his respect. That's just my opinion on the whole situation. With that being said, guys, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.